Hey guys, I'm going to have you do an exercise. It's going to really help you with the shapes and the proportions of your animal eye once we get to the final project. So, you are going to make sure that you have your composition figured out and you've already done your size and set image size from last week. And then, what you're going to want to do is print off the image. This is tricky to do if you have it on your screen. Now, if you don't have a printer at home, I would be happy to print this off for you and you can pick it up in the office. So just let me know if that's a problem. But I do promise it'll be really helpful. So, what we're going to be doing is using this as a guide. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to make a line down the middle of the width and a line down the middle of the height. So, I want to find the halfway point. So, mine is 5.5 inches. So, that means that it's going to be 2.75 would be halfway. So I'm going to make a little line, a little dot for myself at 2.75. And as you guys remember from last year, I'm going to do the same thing down here just to make sure my line is straight. Okay. And then I'm going to find the edge of the picture with my ruler. And you probably want to do this with pencil first, but I'm going over it with marker just so that I can see the line a little bit better. So I'm creating a line down the middle of my composition. And then I'm going to look at my height, and it looks like my height is almost exactly 7 inches. So we'll go ahead and do 3.5. And if you don't have a ruler at home or a measuring tape, you should have one from your planner, and that would work just fine. Okay. All right. So now I have a line intersecting the height and width of my picture. Okay. Why is this helpful? The The intersection and the division of the four is going to really help us figure out where things are in the image and also how big to make them. So I'm just going to use a piece of copy paper. And probably the best thing to do, honestly, since we don't have a light table, is to put this in the window and you'll be able to see through and you can just trace. So I'm actually standing right by a window, so I'm going to go do that really quickly. All right, so now I have all 4 of my spots marked, and I already went over it earlier with a pencil and trace the outline. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my ruler and make a straight line and make a straight line. So it's a much simpler form of gridding than what we did last year. It just basically gives you a middle and kind of tells you, okay, which part of the picture do I have things in? So it's a lot easier than gridding, but it's really, really helpful. So that way, when I'm going in and I'm drawing the outline of my shape, I can really look at, okay, like the bottom of my eye starts right about the middle. Okay, that's where I need to start. So I realize that at this point, it would be really easy to trace your photograph, but that really is not going to help you for the project. And that's the whole point, is for this to help you with your project and to be able to get your shapes looking good and the proportions and different parts of your eye to look good. So take the time. I promise it'll be worth it, because then you'll have this to look at when we start the project. Okay. And I'm not going to do like all of the texture, but I am going to figure out like where the beak starts and stops That'll be really helpful. Kind of just block the shape in there. And I'm just going to like really lightly kind of look at like where this part of the bird starts and stops. So that way I can see where I'm going to need to do the different parts of with texture and color later on. Okay. So I'm not looking for like a finished product. I'm just looking to see that you figured out your proportions. So when you get your good paper, guys, you are going to really lightly make a line down the middle and across that of course you're going to erase later, and that's going to help you. You can look at what you've already done, and especially when we're drawing bigger, that's going to really help you see where your shapes need to go and where your proportions are. Because a lot of students struggle with, drawing something larger once they've started with something smaller. Again, guys, if you need help with this, I'm happy to help you anytime during remote learning. Also, I'm always available during your class time for Google Meet. It's live the whole class period. So if you need help, let me know.